What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists, and welcome to this week's episode of P&Q. Look, I feel like I'm in Florida again. The sun is out, although I've got the door shut because, well, I guess it's not too noisy right now. I'll leave the door open a bit. Anyway, I've got to take these off because I won't be able to read the questions out, will I? And I got myself one of these. Remember these guys from years gone by? Fab. Got myself one of them bad boys. Ooh. So I'm gonna have this before it melts. Oh, hundreds of thousands. Don't leave that on in here. That's to protect my head. It is hot outside. And here are my questions. Oh, yeah. Really good. So, if you are new to this show, and I don't usually eat or drink on this show, but it's just so hot. If you're new to this show, this is the question and answer series where you get to ask me questions or put comments to me and then I respond the following week. Now, you can do this one of 4 ways. 3 ways commonly, but the 4th way is, an optional extra if you happen to meet me in person. So, first way, obviously, put your comment or question down below. Nice and simple, right? Second way, you can email me to miniwarzone@gmail.com. I'll put a link in the video description below. That'll give you an anonymous response where I won't reveal who you are. I'll just read your question or the segment of your email that pertains to P&Q. Thirdly, if you happen to ask a question yourself, do like question of the week or question of the month or just a random question, and I pick it up in your video, I'll answer it here as well as a video question. And lastly, if you happen to meet me in person, obviously you can ask me a question, and if I think, oh, that's quite a good one, I'll answer that on P&Q as well, and then I'll answer it here as well. That's only happened twice, 2 or 3 times in about as many years anyway, so it doesn't happen very often, that one. Anyway, I have 1 email and 1, 2, 3, 4 video questions, so that's good. Oh, these are so good. Nothing to do with modelling, but man. So, email. It says, Pete was wondering how long it took you to move your studio around to the way you wanted it. I have a similar dilemma in that I'm wanting to move my hobby space from a corner of my attic right down into my basement, as there is just so much more room down there. I know I would need better lighting for it, and was also wondering what kind of lights you have in your glorious man cave. Keep up the great work. Oh, thank you, sir. How light? Well, it's still not really exactly to how I want it, but it's a lot more closer to how I want it. Certainly with the table set up now. It's the way it is now. The table can just be left up all the time, and I can put different mats and tabletops down for it. And there's plenty of room to get around all sides of the table, so that's cool. To get from where it was, if you saw it before, to how it is now, took me 2 days. With a lot of help from Mrs. Mini Warzone, I hasten to add. She really is the organisational genius. I am not. I'm not even organised chaos, I'm chaotic chaos. So what kind of lights do I have? I have 4 office standard industry lights going along, strip lights. 4 of them, the tubes, I've got 4 of those. I've got 2 uprights, LED. I've got 2 LEDs and 2 halogen bulb ones. I do not use those energy saver ones. I'm not keen on them. I've heard they can emit some kind of a little bit of radiation or whatever. Not only that, my mic picks up a distinct interference sound from them, but not normal lights or other lights. So yeah. Good luck with your hobby endeavours and moving around. Attic to basement. Now I know you're in the UK, so if it's anything like around here, you can get some houses with basements that are 3 stories, some are 4. You know, like as a big old house. So I don't envy you that task. Get lots of help. Think about what you want to do first. Don't just ram it in there. And make sure your attic, as I've seen pictures you sent me once before. I think you were sending them to lots of people for advice. Was a corner of the attic. Make sure where you're going to is all completely cleared out first. I mean, this studio was purpose built for gaming and hobbying, so I didn't have anything to clear out as such, but I did have to sort of get it decorated and insulated and plastered and all that kind of good stuff, which you can see if you go back through my videos. I've got a playlist called The Studio. You can see it from start to finish over the course of many videos. How it was just a patch of grass really and dead space. Now it's utilised to its maximum, which is awesome. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Thank you for the question, by the way, because you are my only email question this week. Hope I can get through this before it melts. When I was a kid, these used to melt all down my fingers. Right, the first video question comes from Kuja and Kiwi on the Hire a Hobby Sunday series. Kuja asks, what model would you like to see a new model of, or possibly one that hasn't been created yet, or should have been created? That's a good question. Well, a couple of the models have actually come out that I wanted an update of. 2 that spring to mind are the Broodlord, because I wanted a new update for that for so long, and now they got one, which is fantastic. Although I converted my Space Hulk one a bit for that, and I wanted an update of Saint Celestine, which with the triumvirates now we have. So that's cool. Who else would I want an update of, or a model that hasn't been created yet? You said Lionel Johnson, so that's one answer I would have given, because being a Dark Angels player as well as others, you know, I like the Dark Angels, so obviously Lionel Johnson would be one of them. I'm going to say Mephiston. I think his model could do with an updated cast. I mean, it's okay. I'd like to see a more dynamic pose for him. Just stood there with the sword. Yeah, I'd like to see a more dynamic pose for Mephiston, definitely, because he's one of my favourite characters. It's funny, isn't it, how we all have our favourites? And well, Kiwi asked on the same video. She asked a who would win question, but I'm afraid I couldn't understand what you said exactly, which probably means I don't know who the heck you're talking about. I'm clueless. I guess I'm a bit of a dinosaur though, so yeah, apologies for that. I couldn't really make out what you said, so I've just knocked the... There you go. Sorry about that. It's the I forget what they call it now, the filter thing for the top of the mic. It's only a cheap lapel mic, so... But yeah, so sorry about that. I wish I knew who he was talking about, and I don't. And if I did understand what you're saying, I'm 100% sure I wouldn't have a clue who you were talking about anyway. So moving on to the next video question, which is Idic Beer. Oh, he said with 8th edition just around the corner, because he asked this on his Idic Q&A, which doesn't do that often, so if he does ask a question, then it'll be like every month or however long often he does it. But he asked a good question. I like this question. With 8th edition just around the corner, yes, it is there anyone you know that has said to you, I don't like 8th edition, I want to play 7th edition? Well, I don't have I don't exactly have a gaming group for 40k down here, unfortunately. That said, I do play it. There are a few people I can play it with. And 3 people come to mind, but only 2 of them have I seen recently. And they've both said to me that 8th seems a lot better than 7th, and they won't ever go back to 7th again. 7th is dead. They said it was far too forget the word he used now. One of them. I can't remember what he said now, but he meant it was far too many rules here, there, and everywhere. And now it's great to have a new playing field, so to speak. My other friend I haven't seen for a while, but I saw him when 8 first came out, and he kind of said, I'm not doing it anymore, because he'd spent out a load of money on all the rule books and codex, a couple of codex and all that kind of stuff, and he didn't have the receipts or proof that he'd bought it, so he was unable to get his refund or money back on that. So he was like, I'm just going to quit for a bit, will he come back to it? I don't know. I hope so. But no, I don't know anyone that said they want to stay with 7th edition. I'm sure there will be, but you get these die-hard fans of, I'll only play 3rd edition, or we only play 5th edition, or whatever. Okay, crack on. You got that right. But I've not heard anyone say that. The next video question comes from Green Stuff Games on the Q&A series, which is cool. You should check it out. And the question is, what is your favourite game to play right now? Well, like you, that changes. I mean, 40k will always be my first love. But putting that to one side, I have a couple. My favourite game, as in tabletop miniature game, I suppose would be Congo, because there's so much character in it. I love it. Wargaming in the Darkest Africa. Yeah, I love Congo. I like Ronin too, the samurai one version that Osprey put out. That's a good game. These are skirmish games, funnily enough, skirmish level games, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, I like Hordes and War Machine, but Congo is more fun, I think. I mean, I've played more Warmer Hordes than I have Congo, but Congo is the more fun of those two there. So I'm going to say Congo, and this is really melting now. The last video question was what British Legion put out on his Death of Glory and Questions video. He said, if the good ship SS Games Workshop were to hit some cheap terrain and sink, what miniature range would I save from the icy depths of the tabletop ocean, and what figure range would you leave to drown and freeze and die of hypothermia? Well, that's a bit much. Huh. No jokes these days. So if Games Workshop to die, which miniature range would I save? I don't know. That's I probably would try and just not arrange as such, but I probably would try to keep. Oh, hello, boy. That's Rufus coming in. The large models, get as many of those as I could and save those, like big monstrous creatures and stuff like that. That would be the ones I would want to see, because they are just awesome. They're mind-blowing, some of them. What range would I leave to drown and freeze? Any metal range, because I think metal's dead as far as Games Workshop is concerned. It's got its place, but it's not in Warhammer, I don't think. So I would leave metal to drown and die of hypothermia, or metal death. And being metal, you would sink right to the bottom. Yes, that's what I would do. That's all the video questions and the email that I had. So moving swiftly on, we're on to the comments that were left from last week's video. That's Rufus, you can hear walking around there. I was thinking about changing my camera. Nah, I'll leave it as it is. Drake's War Channel is the first one on the questions or whatever from last week. And he said, thanks for your response last week. I love British television, so I thank you for your references to shows you like. My question this time is, what do you think about CRISPR? That's in capital letters there. Yeah, it's obviously an acronym. And its implications for reversing the aging process. Some scientists believe it is achievable in humans in relatively short order, since they have achieved the process with mice. And then there's a link: scientific reversal of aging in mice. What do I think of the implications? I don't think. Well, there's a couple of things I think. One, I don't think we should be messing with that. I really don't. Because, well, I'll come into that later. And two, I don't think it will ever happen for humans, because I think they, whoever they are, want to shorten our lifespans, not increase them, because increasing our lifespans costs our governments too much money and the system too much money, and I don't think they want to pay out for longer pensions and things, even though we've paid for them ourselves. But I just don't think they want to do that, and healthcare and things like that. But what they're putting in all the additives they're adding to the food, I think the food chain is contaminated. And going back to what I said about we shouldn't mess with it, because if they can reverse the aging process, then they can also speed it up. The opposite will be equally applicable. And probably, truth be known, that's probably what they're working on, under the guise of aging reversal process. Because you've got to think, who is this benefiting? Yeah, it's benefiting us, is it? Yes, this is an incredible thing. People will pay, thousands and millions of pounds to live longer. I don't think they will. But it's a great distraction and a great thing for the media, because I think the media is a load of BS anyway, or the mainstream media is anyway. It's a distraction for what's really going on, which is probably the exact opposite, and there's probably a pattern there somewhere. But so I don't think we should be messing with that anyway. But yeah, I mean, if I could get a cure for my MS, yes, I would do that, because that now I'm getting into deep territory here. I think autoimmune disorders are part of the thing that they are promoting to shorten the lifespan of people generally. And to say, oh yes, but your disease will not kill you, but the medication you're on will probably. So it's a strange situation, but I don't think we should be messing with it. I think you get to a certain age and you just have had enough of things, and you want to move on. And I dread to think how crotchety and grumpy I would become if I lived longer than whatever's naturally deemed I'm going to live. But yeah. Anyway, I could go real deep on that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to step back from it. It's a great question, but I'm going to step back from it because that's more for like a different type of channel, I think. I could suppose talk about that on my personal channel, but yeah. Anyway, good question. Moving on. Green Stuff Games is next. Says, hey, great vid, buddy. I'm glad you like my V Q&A series. If you ever want to travel to Wales, it would be great to grab a game or two of 40k with you. Absolutely, yeah. If I'm ever in Wales, I'll look you up. Now, it's not beyond the realm of possibility, because I have a brother who lives in Wales. Don't ask me the address because I can never pronounce it, but my brother and sister, they're always saying, yeah, you should come up. It's a bit of a long ass drive, and one day I'll probably make the trip, and on that day or leading up to that day, I'll probably hook you up and say, hey, where do you live, and is it possible we could meet up for a game of 40k? Don't know what edition of 40k will be on by then, but yeah, I'm up for that, definitely. Okay, Frost and Fists are next, saying, great episode, my friend. I'm the same way with TV. I'd rather watch whole seasons and not have to wait for new episodes. Exactly, you know what I'm talking about. Waiting around for the next season to come out, and I'm done with all that. So no, I wait till it's done, and then I just get the box set and watch them all. I binge watch. Although at the moment we're watching like a different night, a different series. I think I've said this before. Monday we watched we're watching not the original Star Trek, we're watching the Next Generation at the moment. We're on season 2 of that. So Mondays is Star Trek, Tuesdays is Supernatural, Wednesdays is CSI, the original CSI, like the Vegas one. Thursdays used to be CSI New York, although we've just finished the season 1 or whatever it is, 9 or whatever of that, and we've just picked up the next Game of Thrones, so we're watching that for Thursday. Friday we watch Sherlock. We'll get through that quite quick, I assume. And yeah, that's how we do it. It says, I love Dragonlance. Caraman and Raistlin are some of my all-time favourite book characters. Oh, they're good, aren't they? As always, I greatly enjoyed today's chat. Take care, my friend, Wolf Brother Mythos. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mini Warmut is next, and he barks, great P&Q again. What are your thoughts about the vehicles in the new 8th edition? Which class army will benefit the most with vehicle usage? Thanks for your time. Take care. That's a good question too, and I can't answer that properly until I fully analysed 8th edition. I mean, properly to its full. I think vehicles in general are better off now they've got the same stat lines as the other models. Now they've done away with the armour, the front armour, the side armour, the rear armour, and that was just... I found that just a pain, to be honest. I much prefer it now they've got the same stat lines as everything else. Which class or army will benefit the most with vehicle usage? Probably Orcs, I'm guessing. But we'll see. Yes, so yeah, thanks for your question. So I can't really answer that until I've got my hands on it, and I can't wait. It's not long now. Tomorrow it comes out for me, because it's Friday when I record this, so Monday I may even have it in my hands by then, but who knows. You watch this on a Monday. Super War Gamer next says, LMFAO, a ripper doing gardening and shopping. Yeah, why not? LMAO, man, the best answers I could ever hope for. Lol, thanks for the laughs. You are welcome. Thing is, the rippers, they haven't got any arms, so they've got to use their mouths for everything, you know. But what I would do is I'd recruit not just rippers, I'd recruit all the Tyranids into one big massive group, and I'd make a big band with them. You know, they could each play a different instrument. Some that have got more limbs, they can play like drums and things like that. And like the rippers, for instance, they can just do like maracas or something, just hold them in their mouths and just shake their head around and just do percussion and things like that. So yeah, get a big band sound. So they're in my band, Pete and the Tyranids. Okay, you also ask P&Q, who would win in a fight to the death, Taz or a Swarmlord, and why? Well, Taz, because he's Taz. Because he's Taz. Yeah, definitely. It's scary how much we think alike. Good video. Great minds, eh? Idic Beer 40k. Great show, Pete. I am currently suffering from toothache. What is the worst pain you have ever had? Burnt my hand in a fire. Probably not. See, as the two most painful things that have ever happened to me was burning my hand in a fire. That's at the top. And the second most painful one is I used to do tennis lessons when I was young and fit and agile. And I did that thing, you know, end of the game, jumped over the tennis net in the middle of the court, just as my person I was practicing with had just done a massive serve, and he hit it obviously as hard as he could, and I caught it right in the ghoulies. So I dropped immediately to the floor and just threw up, and I was like, whoa. And I hated everything for the next hour or two. It was like, oh. But the most painful thing that has ever happened to me was burning my hand. I used to live in a flat years ago, a long time ago now. You probably can't see it too on there, but I have a scarred hand. I lived in this flat. I was a student at the time, and stupidly I left the chip pan on, and I thought, and I was in the middle of writing an essay at the time, so I just went, I just finished that last of that sentence before I save it. Leapt back into my room. I was typing up, and then I got more engrossed in it, and before you know it, the lady from upstairs comes down saying, something burning down here. And I looked down as the kitchen is, the flames are up to the ceiling or whatever. I did that thing like in cartoons, my eyes went, and now I know, sitting back, and I've always known because I've done all the courses even way before then, what I should have done, chip pan fire, I've put a damp cold cloth over it, which I couldn't get to, but I could have got one from the woman upstairs. But no, I immediately ran down, picked it up, metal pan, yeah. I was going to chuck it out the back door, which was not too far. I had to go through the dining room to get to this back door. So I pick it up, the oil spills all over my hand, and then that catches fire too. I'm running through the dining room, spilling oil onto the carpet, which wasn't very old. It was a few weeks old, which is then catching on fire and burning in places. I get to the back door. I can't hold it anymore. It's just too painful. I think I did well to get that far, and I just dropped it. And it's a wooden back door. And it just went, so that all caught up. But my hand is still flaming. It's like a flaming torch. It's like, ah! So I'm running through the flat with my hand on fire. Thankfully, the lady who lived upstairs, she was called Mary, she's no longer with us, bless her. She had the sense to, she was filling up her bowl of cold water. She brought it down, saw what I was going through, and just shoved my hand in it. It was like, ah! There's 2 fire engines. I don't know who called the fire brigade, but I remember being sat in the back of one. I was just sick with the I was just so nauseous from the pain and everything else. And over the course of the next month or so, all my skin fell away. They had to cut the blackened skin away. The muscles all died, and the nails fell out. They went black, green, and then fell out. Everything just gone from there. I look like Freddy Krueger, who knows. And there was a point where one of the specialists said to me, like, I doubt you're ever going to be able to write with that hand again. But it grew back, and you know, I did all the exercises, and now I play bass. I have to do these exercises and squeezing tennis balls and then those things, and I just built it up. I was determined to be able to use my hand again, and for the longest time I couldn't move it very well at all. I couldn't even get like that far to touch my fingers, and now obviously I can. It's amazing how well the human body heals. It's brilliant. But that was the most painful experience I have ever had. Beats your toothache. But that toothache is bad, I know, and I sympathise. We're on to the last one. JS Idaho says, hello Pete, what do you think of the new repulsor tank and dreadnought? Great vid and take care. The new dreadnought looks amazing. I think that's another model that was due an upgrade, and they've kind of done that, and they've done a good job of it. I really like the look of it. The repulsor tank, I'm not sure. I understand that they're rekindling all this technology. Excuse me, Fab's repeating on me. They've rekindled all this old lost technology, and perhaps they've got now the ability to do hover stuff in tanks and things, but it's just that it doesn't feel quite right in the lore yet. Probably it will. I think it'd be good if they don't like overuse it, like they kind of limit how many you can take, because repulsor tanks, I don't know, be jet bikes next and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I kind of like the idea that certain technologies are lost and they can't replicate them like other races can. And that kind of appeals to me. But you know, who am I to judge? It might work out fine. It looks cool. It does look cool. But yeah. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. We're up to 32 minutes now. And I'm out of questions, so all that remains is for me to say thank you for your questions. This is, without a doubt, I'm fidgety today, aren't I? Most favourite episode to make. I just love talking with you and conversing with you. I just love it. So please keep them coming in. Sorry if anyone made a video question and I didn't find it. I'm sorry. I apologise. I answered what I could find. Anyway, remember, all brushes lead to war. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.